All right, guys, welcome back to the Rick Shiels Golf Show podcast, episode 263. I'm your host, Rick Shiels. I'm here with special co-host, I feel like regular co-host as well, Sophie Walker.
Thank you very much. I come in the school holidays, I find.
When guys are away, we bring in the expert of Sophie Walker, the Olympics. I think that is the topic of today's podcast, the Golf Olympics. We could talk about the normal Olympics maybe for 3 hours. And because I've been loving it. Have you been loving the Olympics, Paris?
I am so in. A week ago, 2 weeks ago, I was like, I'm not too sure about the Olympics. And then it comes on and I am so invested.
You know what's amazing about it? And it still surprises me every Olympics. I love it. It's a great time for us this year in the UK. Mm-hmm. It's only an hour time difference to Paris. It's actually even a time difference.
1 hour.
So an hour time difference. The fact of like every night you can just flick it on and it's whatever is on, whether it's archery, whether it's swimming, whether it's dressage. The one thing that wasn't shown a great deal was the golf. We'll come on to that in a minute. But you can just sit there for 3 or 4 hours and just consume sports at the highest level. And from a lot of sports, you have no idea the rules or how to play. Suddenly by the end of it, you're an expert and you're cheering them on and you're devastated for the fourth place who set a PB but didn't quite fulfill a potential. Or it's just crazy. I absolutely love it.
I do. And I've been listening to it on the radio when I'm in the car. When I come home, it's on. Trampolining was my thing last week. I was driving home from a coaching lesson and listening to it on the radio. And then I ran into the house and I'm like, she's going for gold. I didn't even know who she was, but she was Great Britain. And then I watched it and I thought it looked amazing. And then you see their reactions, don't you? But also, you're like, I hope the opponents mess up.
Yeah.
And in golf, I don't normally be like that. I want it all to be fair, but when it's GB, I hope everybody messes up so we can get golds, silvers and bronzes.
What's fascinating as well is like you can watch a sport and again not know the rules, but by the end of it, that was a great performance. I think that's a 15 or 15.23, and you start to really get dialed into even the scoring system.
Yeah, like in in gymnastics, if you step forward when you land, that's worse than stepping back. Who knew? I know that now.
You know now. Yeah. You're an expert now. But we'll forget all that for the next Olympics in 4 years, and we'll relearn it all again. You've had a busy year, Soph. You've been covering a lot of golf. You were obviously here, then everywhere for the Open. Were you doing presenting work and radio work for the Open?
No, I committed to radio work this time because it's hard. It's over 25,000 steps, 2 rounds a day, Thursday, Friday. So yeah, I tried not to double bubble and refuse the corporate money this year because it was all about the golf for me. I loved it and I forgot how much I enjoyed Troon. So I used to go to Troon to play the Helen Home, which is the Scottish amateur for women. And it always felt miles away.
Yeah.
Because I used to live in Loughborough when I was at university. So it was another hour and a half further away. And it was always in April and the weather was miserable. So I was like, oh, Troon. And then I got up there and remembered just how amazing it was. Bearing in mind, Saturday afternoon wasn't amazing.
No,
that
wet.
was a little bit wet. But yeah, I loved it. It's like the Olympics, isn't it? You finish the Open and you're like, that's the best tournament in the world.
What's fascinating as well is like, obviously here from Manchester, it's only like 3.5 hours away.
Yeah.
It's actually so easy to get to. I didn't know a great deal about Troon before the Open. We got to play it a few weeks beforehand, so I got to kind of learn more than just the 8th hole, the postage stamp. I did fall in love with the golf course. I think it's a fantastic golf course. And then watching the Open, obviously Xander Scheffler ended up winning it. We were all rooting, certainly here again in the UK, for Justin Rose. I feel like the UK and England this year have had a lot of second places, a lot of runners-up this year, including the Euros, where we missed out to Spain. We missed out at the Open. Justin Rose got second. And again, even moving into the Olympics, Tommy Fleetwood yesterday, I was literally on the edge of my seat all yesterday. And I've got to be honest, I didn't watch a great deal of Thursday, Friday, Saturday. I'm not sure if anyone did. But that final round on Sunday, I was absolutely glued. And to see Tommy Fleetwood in GB colours competing and just seemed like he was loving it. And he was so close to winning gold. But out of nowhere, and I mean nowhere, Scottie Scheffler put in a 6 under back nine performance to shoot a course record equaling 62 and to win by 1 and to pick up the gold medal. This guy's superhuman. Like, what? He has just absolutely dominated golf for the last 2 or 3 years, and he doesn't look like he's slowing down one bit.
No, I mean, he came back in 29 shots. There was a 10-shot swing on the back nine between him and John Rahm. And because we know Golf National, we've had the Ryder Cups there, we've had French Opens there, you know how hard the finish is. You know those last 6 are difficult. You might be able to pick a shot up on the par 5 14th, but coming down the last 4 holes, it's anyone's game. And I was, being a true Brit, watching it in the pub, playing darts yesterday.
Yeah. Nice. What a way to watch it.
What a way to watch it. And when he birdied 16, it was one of the loudest cheers I've had in golf, like just watching it with total non-golfers, but people that enjoyed the Olympics. And then having to explain to them, yeah, but 17 and 18 are really difficult holes here. He might not birdie them. But then from a golf point of view, I'm thinking, well, if he bogeys them, he doesn't just lose the tournament. He might not get silver. He might not get bronze. And that was really exciting for me. They're thinking of golds, and I'm thinking, what could you lose? The shot into 18, if he finds the water, he doesn't even win a medal. That was good. And it was on television for the last 2 holes, Rick. But listen to this, my friend's little boy, Teddy, he's 9 years old, doesn't know much about golf. Scottie Scheffler was on. And he said, if he could just putt well, then he would win. I said, how did you know that? Like, even he knows if he could just putt well, he would win. And I mean, did he putt well? He birdied 14, 15, 16 and 17.
Jeez, he's superhuman. Full credit for the podium finishes. Obviously, it's Scottie Scheffler with 19 under par, gold medalist, only the 3rd gold medalist in the modern era. Second place was obviously homegrown Tommy Fleetwood. We're all rooting for him. He was just kind of there and thereabouts, didn't fall off, but didn't also push. I think silver was somewhat, he was so close to gold, but I think silver was a fair result for him. And then Japanese Hideki Matsuyama in bronze position, which is also great. But there was so many stories and so many narratives and so many directions. And like you say, I've made some notes last night when I was watching it. Normally in a golf event, 2nd and 3rd don't matter. Really, do they? But it really did matter, like you said, that 6-7 footer that Tommy had on the last. That was really, really important. Otherwise, he was going to a playoff with Hideki Matsuyama for silver and bronze. It was like there was no money involved in that. It was pure passion. It's like he had to hold that putt to take the silver medal, and he actually did. It was such a great up and down from the back of the green on 18, after unfortunately not getting up and down on 17.
Yeah, I thought they did really well with the golf course and how they did the runoffs, the bowl greens, and he had a hard shot on 17. He didn't catch it how he wanted to, and then 18. That hole is a hard birdie hole. It's a hard par hole. He gave the chip a chance, so I don't think he'll have a regret of not going for gold. But then, like you say, he rolled it in. And when they stand on the podium with the national anthems and they're there in the tracksuits, they're Olympians. Yeah. And that's the importance of golf being in the Olympics, to show it to other people. There was loads of people watching, wasn't there? That was good.
That was one of my biggest takeaways. The crowd was way bigger than I expected. Like, it was packed, wasn't it?
Yeah, and when Victor Perez made that eagle, it was like a football sound, wasn't it? I mean, he was unlucky. Did he come 4th in the end?
I think he came 4th. He shot 6 on the back nine as well.
Unfortunately, no one remembers 4th, do
they? That's the issue with the Olympics. The crowd was much bigger than expected. The broadcast, but it was hard to tell. The broadcast kept saying the crowd was a lot of non-golfers. I thought that was hard to tell from watching on TV.
Well, maybe they weren't in the FootJoy shoes and they didn't have the glove hanging out the back of the pocket.
I think the big thing that I noticed was how the fans really dressed in their nation colours. Either they had flags or they had bucket hats with Union Jacks on, or I saw some guys with England shirts on, or you had American flags here, then everywhere, and stars and stripes. Like, the crowd really showed their colours, quite literally, to their players, which, again, you don't normally see at a golf event.
And the players are wearing their country's colours. The fact that they're going to other events. I saw Scottie Scheffler went to the gymnastics to watch Simone Biles. The inspiration of being around other great athletes, that 2 weeks or the week, I suppose, that they're at the Olympics, I think that's what they'll remember. Watching others, going to the gym, seeing what they do and feeling part of something. Because as a golfer, it is very individual. But at the Olympics, you're doing it for your team, as in Team GB, and your country, as in the United States, and Scottie Scheffler crying. I don't think he thought he was going to cry when he got his medal, and it was emotional. It felt different. It felt great. It looked great. And for everybody that was slightly negative about the Olympics, Rory McIlroy being one of them when it first came back.
Because he didn't play in the first one, did he, from memory?
No, because he got out of it. There was a Zika virus, wasn't there, in Rio, and there was a lot of people that didn't go, made their excuses, and then Justin Rose went and really embraced it, and won the gold medal. And then obviously Tokyo, COVID affected. This one felt like the first good go at it, didn't it?
It did, and I think going back to that, I think there was a lot of different reasons why this one seemed a lot bigger and more exciting. Like I say, Rio de Janeiro, Brazil's not known for golf. So straight away, you've not really got a home golfer. The golf course was, I don't even remember it. Was it even built just for the Olympics? It was a bit, whether it was still even a golf course now, who knows. Tokyo, seemed really weird because, like I say, it was COVID, etc. I think the next 3 years we've got real promise.
Riviera.
Imagine that. Is that where it is? LA? Is it Riviera
it's
next
Riviera.
time?
I think you could be Snoop Dogg. Okay.
I like that.
You could be the mascot. That's a job, isn't it?
What a life he's living at the moment, Snoop Dogg, by the way. And then is it Brisbane 4 years after that?
Oh, where's
Ben
Australia?
I'm sure. Is it not? I'm sure it's LA next, and then it's Brisbane in 2032. Anyway, I think the next 2 Olympics with golf in it will be at amazing golf courses. Am I right?
Yeah, you are.
It'll be amazing golf courses, and they'll have home talent, representing. And I think that adds to it all. I think when, like I say, the other two have just not seemed to have added to that kind of hype, really.
Well, look at the swimming.
Yeah.
Leon Marchard.
Yeah.
Didn't know who he was 2 weeks ago. Now
Exactly.
I think he's the greatest swimmer in the world.
It's unbelievable,
but the French, the noise that was there. So, yeah, I think that's a really good point. But what's great is you've watched that and thought, I want to go to the next Olympics. Yeah. I'm invested in golf now.
I'm gutted I didn't go to Paris.
I am.
I had opportunities to go and I didn't. I thought, I don't think it's going to be that good. And I'm gutted now because it was busier. It was more exciting than I expected. That comes down to the fact that the leaderboard on the final day was one of the best leaderboards we've seen in golf, period. Like I can't remember even a major where I've looked at that talent of leaderboard from all different countries and gone, wow, that's a leaderboard I want to tune in for the next 4 hours and watch this.
And don't tell me it doesn't matter, because looking at John Rahm on that back nine, John Rahm doesn't look nervous, does he? He did, didn't he?
What, honestly?
He had a 4-shot lead through 10 holes.
I mean, it was, to some degree, once he'd got that 4-shot lead, I was a little bit gutted because I was kind of like excited for this exciting back nine, which I didn't think was going to happen. And then he made back-to-back bogeys, picked up a par, then he dropped 4 shots in 4 holes. And I was like, what has just happened? Like, what the hell? And he looked all out of sorts. He totally lost his rhythm. He's obviously a very emotional golfer. He kind of, that back nine, he just seemed to zone out.
But it was, I'm going to win for my country. I think that was the weight of it, wasn't it? It wasn't just winning for yourself like it happens at the major championships. He was going to be thinking about when I get back to Spain or when I get back to the village and everything like that.
Quite literally a national hero.
Yes.
There was a few other things I put on there. I just, you mentioned a minute ago, I actually did really like the team outfits. I think some of them were a little bit out there. I think the Australian, sorry Ben, outfits were a bit out there.
the visors.
The
But
visors.
for me, they looked Australian.
It worked.
That's what it's there for.
It
I
worked.
didn't like the USA uniform.
I think the Jay Lindenberg sponsored the US, which is an odd fit because Jay Lindenberg is so European and Swedish that sponsor the American team just didn't seem right. It would have been more like a Peter Millar would have sponsored the American team. But I liked it where you instantly flicked from one player to another and he's like, oh, I know that.
Japan.
Yeah, I knew that's going to be. The only ones that I kept getting confused about was the Danish uniform and the Spanish on the last day. It kept flicking to Hogarth and then flicking back to John Rahm, and obviously there's a size difference. But on it, I'm thinking, who's this now? But I really like that.
Do you think they need an away kit then? Now you're a football fan.
Imagine that. That'd actually be brilliant. I've got a hot take. Okay.
Okay.
And I think all the podium players met the criteria that I'm going to set. Okay. I think caddies should be from the same country.
Oh, okay.
Because surely you're going as a team, aren't you? Because you know when you're watching the rowing, is it called the cocks at the front of the boat or the back of the boat? They're from the same country, right?
Yeah, they stand on the podium with them, don't they?
I think caddies should get medals, but I think they have to be from the same country. Now, Scottie Scheffler would have been because Ted Scott's from the same country. Finno is obviously English. He would have got a medal. I'm guessing Hideki Matsuyama's caddy is Japanese. Because the one I kept thinking of was John Rahm. Because John Rahm's caddy is American. And as I was watching, I was like, I don't know if that's right. I think maybe you should have a caddy that's from the same country. And they should get rewarded with a medal.
I like it. Well, we're having mixed events, aren't we, in Riviera? I think the next one is men and women's golf. So that they're adapting the golf there. So maybe they adapt it in the caddies as well. It
brings on to another nice point. When you watch swimming, how many different disciplines are there? Like swimming feels like it's gone on for like 2 weeks already, right? I would love to see a bit more of a festival of golf. And it's over 2 weeks, but it's a real festival. It includes doubles, mixed doubles, long drive.
Long drive,
I think long drive should be in the Olympics, 100%. I mean, as far as saying like for the, this is a bit of a daft take, but like mini golf. Like, why could there be a mini golf Olympic game, an Olympic medal? Because the one thing I did see, which was a weirdest sport I didn't expect to be in there, was 3 versus 3 basketball. Have you seen that?
Yeah, I've seen that. And that's an adaptation, obviously, of basketball. And then there was one with the kayaking. So in kayaking and canoeing, for instance, where you go down and you have to go through the gates.
And it's timed.
There's the one where it's just get down as fast as you can and hit whatever you want. So maybe that's the equivalent of long drive. I like the long drive and I like the doubles.
I think long drive and mixed doubles.
Yes.
But logistically, how would it work? It can't be 4 rounds of everything, can it? Like, I'd actually quite like to see just 1 round shootouts.
Yeah, I think that the talk is 3 rounds for the mixed. That's the talk. But could you get more players in there?
Yeah.
So you're looking at the swimming. There's loads of them, isn't there?
Of course you could.
So you get somebody that's really good at just 18-hole shootouts, and then somebody that's like your marathon runner that's 72 holes.
Yeah.
Like Patrick Cantley's always first round leader, isn't he? He'd be in your 18.
Always.
Holes.
Or someone like Mark Leishman always seems to do really well of just 18 holes. Like I feel like there needs to be more variations where it's more digestible content. Because let's be honest, up until that final round of golf, me as a hardcore golf fan, I wasn't watching Thursday, Friday, Saturday.
I wasn't.
Like, who did?
No.
I don't know. Genuinely, I don't know who did. I might have just quickly checked at night who's leading, who's doing what, just to keep an eye on it. But like, I will consume so many different sports when it's just on, and even if it's just on for 2 hours, I'm in. If it's trampoline, if it's kayaking, if it's archery, whatever it may be, dressage, for God's sake, like, I'm in because it's
and dancing horses.
Unbelievable.
Unreal. But that's why long drive can work, because you can't say that some of the ones that the adaptation of the sports that we're talking about are full sports. So why can't we have long drive?
But why not? You know, remember Sixes?
Yeah.
Was that just a female event?
No. No.
Was that mixed male?
It was. Yeah, it was.
It was at Centurion,
Eddie
wasn't
Pepperell
it?
and Matt Wallace represented England, didn't they? And then Charlie Hull.
Georgia Hall?
Yeah, maybe.
Why
so
not?
you could do
Imagine
something like that.
Like 6 holes. Like, it's digestible. It's an hour and a half or an hour, hopefully, if you can do it. Put a shot clock on, make it an hour. I want to be able to turn on normal TV, BBC, and non-golfers are watching going, oh, golf's on. Like I do in trampolining, like I do in all, and not have a clue what the format is, but by the end of it, know about Hideki Matsuyama and know about Charlie Hull and know about Georgia Hall or whoever, and go, oh, that's really good. You know, they deserve that gold medal or silver medal or whatever it may be.
But also, you're going to turn on, you know, breakfast television, and like this morning, they're down at the local gymnastics club. We could have that at golf clubs. You could go to Tommy Fleetwood's golf club, and everybody's there watching him, and then more kids start playing, more people start getting interested. And that's the growth of it, isn't it?
Of course it is. And I think Long Drive is just a perfect match. I think Long Drive, just watching Long Drive, and let's be honest, out of all golf people, specimen of people, Long Drives are the closest to actual athletes.
Yeah, and like Long Drive, I'm not going to sit and watch Long Drive every single week, but I'll watch it once every 4 years, like I will do with all the other Olympic sports.
I think there's definitely growth that needs to happen. I think golf's had a strong year this year, and I think it'll. And then my other, this is completely flipping this on its head. Do you think it should be professional golfers?
Yeah.
You do?
I do. Because all the other sports are professional. They are their best athletes at that level, aren't they?
Well, how does boxing work? Because boxing's the only one that's not.
Other than boxing, maybe. But the rest of them, you look at the rest of them, they're all world champions at this.
Yeah,
and
that's
they're
fair.
all European champions.
Because the one that baffles me is how the Americans can bring professional basketball players. It's like, these guys are, like LeBron James is a multi-billionaire and he's there at the Olympics. I'm guessing he's not staying on the cardboard beds.
Well, he'd need 2 of them, wouldn't they?
He would.
Put together.
I think they actually hire a hotel, but like, I don't know, maybe that is a daft one really, but I don't know. I feel like we're really close to it being brilliant, and I'm like, in 4 years now, we've got a time frame to go. What does it look like at Riviera in 4 years? What, you know?
Can you imagine it in LA as well? What they could do?
Be amazing.
With jazzing it up. You see the 100-meter final where they had all the lights and they all come out.
Yeah, brilliant.
Do that, and I think if it was a Long Drive, they'd be embracing that.
Of course they would.
That.
And you could do it under the floodlights. You could do it, to some level at like night golf. I think that's the way golf in the Olympics at the moment. I'm a bit gutted. I feel like golf's getting lost in the Olympics, and it's like when I watched the opening ceremony, and not all of it, because it was like bloody 7 hours long, and it was the weirdest opening ceremony ever. Sorry, Paris, but not a single bit of golf was mentioned, bar Shane Lowry carrying the Irish flag, and I'm like, they're underestimating, like, you've got Scottie Scheffler turning up to this, who is the best in the world right now. You've got big names, like, I would say household names like Rory McIlroy, etc., who just aren't seem to be getting mentioned. And I really think there's an opportunity to kind of super boost golf within the Olympics. Obviously, there's so many disciplines, so many different sports, so much going on. But why can't golf be like one of the top 5 sports that people are like, I can't wait to watch the golf at the Olympics? Is it time? Or is it more formats, or is it more promotion?
Well, I think it's because it's on for a short time. If you were saying about the swimming's on for a whole week. Then it goes into the athletics, a whole week. Rowing's the same. Gymnastic feels like it's going on for that long as well. And it's the times that they're on, like peak times. I'm thinking, ridiculous. I'm thinking tonight, 800-metre final. Can't wait.
Yeah.
800, what?
Yeah.
Like,
some great times, aren't
Joshua Kerr, I think he's called. Seen him once. I think he's amazing. But it's the timings, and so maybe we need a little bit more of it, rather than, I feel like in golf it's like watching the marathon. No one's watching the marathon. for the whole
no,
2 hours.
They're not.
There was a cycling on one yesterday, and that was 5 hours. You might turn on for the end.
Yeah.
That's what we're facing at the minute. Maybe if you could get a short form. And I'm a traditionalist. I'm like the long form, but for the Olympics, for trying to show it off in a different environment, then I do agree with you.
To some degree, the golf is on for 2 weeks because this week we've got the ladies kicking off. Is it from Thursday as well?
It'll be the same, yeah.
I don't fully agree with the separation. I feel like it should all be 1 week and have like a festival of golf in 1 week. Like, what's stopping yesterday them going out in male group, female group, male group, female group, and having 2 tournaments running coincide? They can still have male and female winners and runners up in third place, but why do they have to be on separate weeks? They're on the same golf course, aren't they, this week coming up? I'd have loved to have 2 narratives like yesterday, a little bit more. Like, again, you see that in other sports where you've got 2 events taking place, like the marathon, where you'll have a male winner and a female winner. It's still the same marathon. They're just having 2 different races.
Well, yesterday, Sunday, the gold medals are presented. Leona Maguire's having a practice round after it.
Was she really?
Yeah, I'm like, that. For me, that was really strange to see that happening. There's only 1 tournament on the Golf National. It's not the Open. There's not 150 odd people teeing it up. Why can't you go morning and afternoon or mix them together?
There was only 60 golfers.
So you could get them round.
You could have 120 round, couldn't you? I don't think that's unfair. Like you said, the Open has 150. I don't think 60 golfers is unfair, because then you could still have this idea that you've got the males teeing off and the females teeing off, and I like this idea of going alternate tee, because with all due respect, the crowds aren't going to be as big this week, are they? No. At the Golf National. They should be. And why can't they be?
And also, there was an LPGA event on this week. Okay? That shouldn't be happening.
Shouldn't at all.
I'm sure there'll probably be some form of PGA Tour event on next week. No, the focus should be only... The only golf that is on in the world at that point is the Olympics.
Correct. And you could kill a couple of birds with one stone there, because you could have this idea that you've got the individual stroke play events. Fine, that's going to continue. I get that. But then you could have had this idea where it was like Tommy Fleetwood's score gets added onto Charlie Hull's score for a team, elected team result. That could have happened as well.
Or the best players go into like another mini event after. You pick up the best ones, and then there's a final day, a playoff or something like that.
Match play or whatever it could be. I really hate the fact it's on the week after now.
And then they're staying together. So there's been quite a few photos flashing around Instagram of, 2 of the German players stood next to Rory McIlroy, the girls and the guys. But that crossover is going to be 1-2 days maximum.
If it happens,
Whereas imagine being around the best male players, the best female players in the world from different countries. The Australian team, when you look at them on Instagram, they seem like they're really nicely mixed. But other countries that, they clearly aren't. That would be awesome.
Yeah. I mean, again, if let's say Nelly Corda goes and wins this week, like imagine having that picture with Nelly and Scottie, both with the gold medals, both with the tracksuits on. That picture might not happen, because they're not going to win it. They're going to win it separate.
A week apart.
Scottie's going to be on holiday somewhere. I know, like, Tommy's gone on holiday today. He was on the radio this morning. It's like, I just feel like it's really close. It can be improved. And maybe they said, for the first 3, we don't change anything. For Rio, Tokyo, and Paris, nothing changes. And then we'll review it from there, potentially. And hopefully some of those things get changed. There was one big storyline that I couldn't stop watching, and I felt so bad for Tom Kim. Yeah. Because the story with Tom Kim, he's from Korea, and if he would have got a medal from the Republic of Korea, if he would have got a medal, he then isn't required to do the 2-year military service that the Republic of Korea, able-bodied male of, I think, is it 24 years old, have to do. So, or is it 22? Either way, it's soon. Yeah. So it's soon.
He's got 2026 Asian Games that he can play. So he has a couple of more chances.
Because as the rules, there's very, 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 very small amount of people that are are given special permission not to need to do the military service. And if you bring a medal to the Republic of Korea, in albeit a bronze, silver, or gold, you are then exempt from that military service. And you could tell he was really trying hard yesterday. He was playing with his really good pal, Scottie Scheffler. Tom Kim ended up shooting a 68 yesterday to get out of medal places he was out of medal places by 4 spots in the end, to be fair.
He made double on the last, didn't he?
Did he make double on the last as well? I mean, it's just, well, he had to, didn't it? Oh, yeah, because he went in the water on the left off the tee, didn't he? I mean, just, it's crazy, isn't it? I don't want to see Tom Kim disappear for 2 years because he's an unbelievable talent.
Yeah, so the rule is you need to medal at the Olympics or you need to gold medal at the Asian Games. So last year, Siwoo Kim and Sunjae Im, they teamed up at the Asian Games and won a gold medal. So they are now exempt. But at the moment, Tom Kim isn't. So he has 2026 Asian Games. If you think back to, is there anybody that get exempt? Well, Son, that plays at Tottenham, he's won an Asian Games gold medal in 2018, so he does not have to do military service. So Spurs fans, good news for you. But over there, the K-pop bands, the big superstars of Korean music, they BTS, still have to do it. There is nobody that is exempt unless they bring back a medal. So there are a few more chances. Imagine the pressure on yourself, because you are okay. The chances of you actually, when we talk about military service, being in danger, having to go out to some form of war is very low. But he's not playing golf for 2 years, so his career is going to be put on hold.
Definitely. Is there any golfers who have been through it and come out of it and been successful? I don't know of any names that have, which worries me, because if he vanishes into the mist and doesn't return after 2 years as a competitive golfer, that would be such a shame. But yeah, I thought it was fantastic. I thought the finishing 18 holes was gripping, incredible. Thought the coverage was actually good, really good. Who does the coverage? Like, who actually filmed it all?
Do you know what? I was a bit like you with the Olympics. I didn't even ask to do it. It's my birthday this week, so I was thinking I've got a week off. But the Olympics has changed that. I'm going to ask who's doing it next time. Can I do it? I believe it was a world feed.
Right.
And NBC would have had their own commentators do it. And then there is a world feed commentary team as well. So the two people that I do know that was on it was Alison Whittaker and Tony Johnson. An amazing job that they did. But the coverage was okay. There was no on-course commentators, which I'd have quite liked.
Yeah.
And the shot tracers was fine, and it was nice to watch it without adverts. Yeah, that was a real positive to not watch it with adverts.
It was when I again flicked it on yesterday. For me personally, it should be on free TV. It was on Discovery Plus here in the UK, behind kind of a paywall subscription model. And I clicked on thinking, I don't know what to expect here. And I actually flicked on, I was like, oh, it actually looks like a proper golf event. Like, it wasn't half-hearted, was it really?
No.
And considering how many sports they have to film and how many sports they have to be perfect at, I thought they did a really good job covering it.
And I liked the first tee, where the three of them stood on the first tee and they got introduced.
Yeah.
That would really add the feels, wouldn't it, to the golfers?
Another mention, who again potentially should get a gold and silver, but he actually doesn't meet my criteria in one of the categories. Phil Kenyon, putting coach to both Scottie Scheffler and to Tommy Fleetwood. What a year he's had. He's good, isn't he, the gerbil? He's good. He has had an outrageous year. He's so in the background. He went. He didn't stay. Once they teed off, that was it. He came home, and he's the man, isn't he? He is the absolute man, but you would never know it. I've got a great story about him when I went for a putting lesson in Dubai. It was the race to Dubai, and he said, so if you come on Monday, because everybody's not there on a Monday, but Henrik Stenson was there, and so was Matt Fitzpatrick. So he's looking at Matt Fitzpatrick, and he's just doing a few chip shots, so I assume he's just chatting to him at the moment, not really working with him.
And he said to me, Soph, I'll just finish my packet of crisps and I'll be with you. Typical Phil. And then Fitzy says, like, something's going on. I thought, what's going on? And Fitzy says, Henrik wants to change his lesson with Phil. He's supposed to see Pete Cowan first and then Phil Kenyon, but he would like to switch it round. And I said, oh, well, I'm happy to wait. Like, it's absolutely fine. Bearing in mind, I'm at a men's golf tournament, but it is the Monday. And he said, no, not at all. You're in at 3:00 and Henrik's in after you. So he gave me a putting lesson, and then we both walked over to Henrik on the practice ground with Phil, and I mean with Pete. And this is prime Henrik. I'm thinking this must be just after he's won the Open, somewhere around there. But that's Phil Kenyon for you. He says he's going to give you a lesson at 3:00, and it doesn't matter if you're Sophie Walker or Henrik Stenson. Treat everybody the same.
I just can't believe, like, I bumped into him at the Open. We got him on the live at the range, and how his diary is literally like any other golf professional's diary. Like, he had it in his phone. He's like, yeah, I've got Tommy in at 9. I've got Scottie Scheffler in at 11. I'm like, what the hell? Like, that's so bizarre. It has to be. Yep. Otherwise, how can it be organised? But it's like, I mean, unbelievable. Fair.
They're really proud of him. I think we, as Brits, we talk about how proud we are of Tommy Fleetwood doing well, but our coaches, the likes of Phil Kenyon and Pete Cowan, amazing jobs.
And you did call him a gerbil.
Yeah, it's his nickname.
I'm like I say, hopefully it gets a lot better. I think there's room for growth in the Olympics, certainly in the golf category. Fair play to Scottie Scheffler for an unbelievable finish, and really, really, really proud of Tommy. I can't wait to see him again, and I'm sure he'll have that silver medal in his pocket, ready to show off at every opportunity.
I think it should be his ball marker. Just put it down there.
That'd be a flex, wouldn't it? That would be a flex. Sophie, it's been great to have you on. Would you mind joining us for the Clubhouse episode on Friday? We actually film it now.
Okay.
Don't tell anyone. Don't tell the secret away. So we're going to film it now and release it Friday. I know. Okay. I wish you happy birthday at the start of it. Okay. We'll get you a cake. Sophie, you've been amazing as always. Thank you so much. Any other mentions you want to put out there? Anything else you want to chat about at the Olympics?
Just the best of luck to Charlie Hull and Georgia Hall. Who do you think is going to do really well this week for the female Olympics? I think Lilia Vu, the American, will go well, and it wouldn't surprise me to see one of the Japanese players be up there. It's been a fantastic season so far for the Japanese contingent. I like that. Do you think the golf course, has there been many ladies events at the Golf National? No, there was a European team amateur there many moons ago. It's a really difficult golf course. I've actually never played it. Have you played it? Yeah, I've played it a few times, and what I would say is that because the females are so straight off the tee, that finding the fairway won't be too much of an issue, but the runoffs around the greens, I think that's going to be a hard point for the females, and it'll be interesting to see how they set it up. I think it's always good when the men play it first and the women play it second on that same golf course. It happened at the US Open at Pinehurst when Michelle Wee won, so I'm looking forward to seeing the setup. It actually starts on Wednesday. Ah, right, okay. It's actually a day early, so it starts on Wednesday, finishes on Saturday, because the closing ceremony is on Sunday. Oh. I know. Good. I don't want it to be every 4 years. It's a shame. Good luck to Charlie Hull. And who else is representing? Georgia Hall. Georgia Hall. That'll be awesome. Thanks, everyone, for listening. Make sure you are subscribed. Follow Sophie Walker on all of her fantastic social media. And join me on Friday to wish Sophie Walker a happy birthday. We'll see you in the Clubhouse episode coming very soon.